Jason's never looked so colorful. Today I'm building the NES version of Jason Voorhees, straight out of the 8-bit NES game.
Russ, what you doing? Russ, what you doing? Russ, what you doing? Let's find out.
Now, I've done a Jason cosplay in the past and it was a huge success. Everyone enjoyed how the video came out and it inspired others to do their Jason NES cosplay or retro Jason. But I wanted to revisit this and kind of redo it and give you guys some new tips if you want to put together this cosplay. One of the biggest things is that I did my original cosplay in like a jumper suit, kind of similar to what Michael Myers wears, but if you look at retro Jason, it is pants and a shirt that are separate. So that's one big thing we're changing this year. So I went and picked up a Dickies long sleeve work shirt here in white, of course, and then I ended up getting some Wrangler pants as well. The Dickies just didn't fit right, so if you can try them on at the store, maybe they'll fit a little bit better. Wranglers, same thing, white painter's pants. Obviously we're going to be dyeing all of this purple. And I did get one of these masks that you can wear over your head. I got it in white this time before I got it in purple. Of course, Jason masks, you can pick these up at any Halloween store or grab it on Amazon. And of course, fabric dye. We're going with RIT fabric dye. I picked up 2 bottles, so I'm going to put them in there, see if we can get maybe a nice darker purple. And I did pick up these dish gloves for the color of his skin there. We're going to have the mask match that as well. And one last thing you'll need is a Tupperware container to do all the mixing in. All right, enough talk. Let's get to the DIY.
And we're off. All right, this is back when I lived at the condo, so I'm using the back patio to get everything prepped and ready and filling up a bin with water. This boils the water quickly, and if you don't have one of these, you can also boil the water on the stove. You just need some really warm water that helps with the reaction with the RIT fabric dye. And I have 2 bins, one for rinsing. All right, let's get this dye in here. 2 full bottles. I'm looking to get a little dark purple, and you can put all the items in there. I am wearing the gloves that I'm going to be using for the cosplay, so I did have to order some new ones because they did get stained a little bit. But you just kind of want to rotate them. And then I totally forgot to add, you're supposed to add a little bit of dish soap in there so it helps, I don't know, I guess absorb into the clothes. So I'm just straining it out as much as I can for the dye and then putting it in the clean water to rinse it.
Okay, so I shot all that footage almost a year ago, so I've been putting off this cosplay, finishing it up. So we're gonna go on to attempt number 2. We're going a new direction, so come along with me and see where we end up.
And here we are, back at it again. This is the second attempt. My wife has this sous vide, which heats up the water to a certain temperature that you want it. So we got it a lot hotter and consistent. I'm just using one of the RIT fabric dyes, and those are the same clothes there. They're kind of like this light purple. So we're going into the bucket, just using a Costco bucket. They sold these buckets and it works out pretty good.
All right, I took the pants out because they are plenty dark. They were dark before. The hot water definitely helped for sure. I'm letting this shirt soak a little bit more. It does say you could put it in there for 30 or up to 60 minutes depending how dark you want it. So we're going to try to get it a little bit darker to match the pants. And I'll periodically come by with the paint stick. Give it a little stir right there. All right, I just ended up draping them over this little pole we have outside so they can dry out. I washed them as much as I can, so we'll let these sit here, dry for a few hours, and then we'll move on to the next step.
All right, so here we go. I'm starting to get creative. The dye job wasn't matching 100% perfect, so what I decided to go a different route and paint this so it almost has this cell shaded look. You know, you think of Borderlands or comic book characters. So I'm using a lot of light purples, pinks, and of course blacks to get that nice crisp outline so it looks more cartoon-like. Or you can even, you know, think of the NECA figures that they put out. They had the Jason figures. They did it with the turtle figures as well.
All right, here's the shirt right now. I actually threw it in the wash, gave it a quick wash because using the straight acrylic paints was kind of making this a little stiff. It is a little stiff. That's fine with this on the pockets. I'm going to try a new technique using a little bit of water and some conditioner. Shout out to my wife. I'm using some of this. You won't know till you see the video. But it should be pretty good. I picked up some new paints too. Some of these right here. And we went ahead and got this Color Shot by Tulip. It's a spray paint for fabric. It's a little darker purple. I want to get some more dark on this shirt here. And I'm going to see also if I can spray the strap for the mask.
Yeah, I like this fabric dye right here in the can. I used this on my NES Freddy cosplay as well to make the sweater orange. So this dark purple here helps me cover a large area on the shirt itself. This way the lighter purple is more of the shading, and this way it matches the pants a little bit more. I think it was just too much of that light purple pink. I probably should have gotten 2 cans of this, but it worked really well. We got the window open there for some ventilation, and I have the fan on as well. But just kind of going to town and then adding a little bit more of those shadows on the pants. I'm just kind of seeing where everything creases and putting it there. Never done this before, so we're seeing how it goes. All right, we're getting a little bit of water, a little bit of conditioner, mixing it, and then we're going to add our paint to it. Supposedly, this is supposed to keep the paint a little bit flexible when applying it. So I started with this nice light pink to kind of highlight some areas. I kept going lighter because of the backdrop of the pants were so dark. It's hard to see it pop, see the, you know, the color variations on there. So it was just playing back and forth. Wanted to do the back as well. I didn't want to like half do it, and when you see me from the back there's no detail on there. So just kind of again randomly putting some shadows and highlights in. Once you kind of get the base down and you go back with the black outlines, that's when it really starts to pull the details together. And then I went heavy in on the pinks here. I felt like the pinks really popped and play into that, you know, 80s theme with purples and pinks. And I was like, you know what, let me just start painting some of the pockets and some of these seam lines to make it really pop and come together. And finally, we can move on to the mask. All right, first thing to do, I'm taking this strap off here, and it has these extra rivets there that I'm just gonna get rid of. We're just drilling them out with the drill bit, and then I'm going back and sanding the whole mask just so it takes paint a little bit better, and we can get a base coat on there. I was kind of going back and forth what color base coat I should do with the teals. I kind of had 2 different teals, and when I got it in, I just ended up covering the whole thing with acrylic paint anyway, so I guess it didn't really matter. I kind of like this lighter teal for it. And just kind of going in, doing some of the highlights. Again, variations of the different colors. I pulled out a lot of these acrylic paints, a lot of blues, teals, greens, even purples to put a little purple highlight in there. And I'm using a little bit of dry brushing to blend it in. And again, coming back in with that pink, we're just using one of the chevrons on there. That's totally up to how you want to do it. A lot of people, when I did the first mask, they're like, it doesn't have chevrons in the game. You can put them, you can not put them. Totally up to you. And just getting all the black for the circles, all the cutouts, just really over exaggerating almost some of the lines on the mask. So it really pops. And once I did that full outline, it really makes it look like, you know, a cartoon or a comic. I was just having a great time detailing this mask up and coming together. And again, just keep adding a little bit of lighter work for the highlights, different colors, and going with the flow. I really enjoyed how it turned out. I did try to dye the strap with that spray and it did not work at all. So we're keeping a black strap. but I think it looks awesome. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Moving on to the machete here, I had already painted it blue, so I'm just adding those highlight colors in there, some lighter blues, and a little bit on the handle as well, a little bit of grays on the handle, and then going back with the black just to do a full outline so you get that nice comic effect right there. Did the full blade edge, not too shabby. All right, picked up some new gloves here and just added some black outlines to it. I might add some blue as well. We got the mask right here, but I want to cover the eyes up so you can't see in them, so I went to the dollar store, picked up the cheapest pantyhose. We should be able to cut this and glue it in here, so it'd be good to go. And I might add some more blues to the machete so it matches the mask a little bit more. So that's what we're getting into. Alright, so I took the pantyhoses and cut them and ended up cutting them in half and stretching it and just using a little bit dab of hot glue, and I would press it into the pantyhose and it would secure it there and then pull it taut. So this way I'd be able to see through it and repeated the steps. There's a little test fit right here. I might have to stretch it a little bit more, but I mean, I could definitely see out. We'll see how it goes walking around a convention like this, because I do wear glasses, but I like the overall look a lot better, so we'll see. Alright guys, that was the build. I was super excited. I was able to bring this to Retro World Expo, show it off to people, and everyone was blown away. They haven't seen something like this. It's a little variation on the NES Jason. Love how the mask came out. I think I'll do a more in-depth video on how I did the mask. We got plenty of other mask tutorials coming up on the channel. And quick shout out to Bull Airs for sponsoring this episode. They did hook me up with the Camp Killers right here. These are custom NES Jason shoes, so they go together with the cosplay. Fantastic. I love it. It sets it off. If you guys want to check out Bull Air stuff, they do lots of custom shoes, clothing, t-shirts, and a whole bunch more. So check out bullairs.com. And if you guys love this Jason cosplay, be sure to check out this video where I turned Freddy Krueger into his NES counterpart, bringing him straight from the Nintendo game. Subscribe if you're not already, guys, and as always, I'm Russ Lyman, and keep your world fun bit by bit. I'll see you next video.